Caroline Broussard. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. My name is Caroline Broussard. I am the chairperson of the North Region Special Education Local Plan Area Community Advisory Committee. This committee is comprised of 5 districts: Alameda, Albany, Berkeley, Emory, and Piedmont. And I am thrilled today to have Family Resource Navigators with us to discuss extended school year, what it's all about. But before I get to that, I want to say a little bit about what the Community Advisory Committee does. Our mission is to enhance education for all students with disabilities, increase understanding of special education issues, and build advocacy skills within our family and caregiver community through education and support. During tonight's presentation, I will drop a membership form into the chat. We could use all of the that we could get in doing this incredible work supporting education families.
Everyone should be on mute while we're doing this.
I was just going to get to
Except
that
for Caroline.
section. Yes. And I also want to say, so we have voting membership that allows us to move forward business items, but I will say the real work of this committee happens within our subcommittees, which you do not need to be a voting member to participate in. Generally speaking, this committee meets pending this month's discussion, typically on the 4th Monday of every month, with some exceptions where, depending on where holidays land, we take a break in July for the summer, and we also take a break in December for the winter holidays. But it is truly fulfilling work. So if you enjoy this presentation and you get a lot out of it and you want to have a hand in helping craft future education seminars such as this one, I strongly encourage you to join the Community Advisory Committee. A few housekeeping items before we get started. First and foremost, please make sure you're muted during this presentation. We will take questions during the presentation, but only questions having to do with what is being discussed. If you have a general question, please save that for the end. As you can see, this meeting is being recorded, so please don't get too personal in your questions, getting into specifics around your specific student and naming names. Please don't do that because this is going to be recorded and posted on our CAC website. So just keep your questions relatively generic. You can get into the weeds just a little bit, but try to keep identifying information out of your question as much as possible. With that being said, I'm going to pass the mic to our friends from Family Resource Navigators, Carol Cohen and Kriptika. Thank you so much for being here this evening. I'm going to allow you to introduce yourselves.
Hi, so my name is Carol Cohen. I've been with Family Resource Navigators for 20 years. In October, I am currently the program manager for our Family Empowerment Center, which we've had for close to 4 years now. The Family Empowerment Centers are funded through California Department of Education, and they are meant to help families with their IEPs and 504s. And we work collaboratively with the school districts to do alternative dispute resolution so that families and school districts can maintain a positive relationship. We are not advocates in the paid advocate sense. We do occasionally attend IEP meetings if there's a breakdown to try to just sort of see what's going on and how we can sort of help families work together more collaboratively. We help them from the point of I think I need an IEP. I'm help them craft letters. I'm explain the process. Reviewing IEPs. I'll just plug it right now. We have a conference coming up, October 24th. We'll have our former director and a couple of advocates coming to do presentations. We'll have a speaker from Captain, which is our autism group, coming to talk about evidence-based practices that are done in the classroom for autistic students. And we're still planning a couple more. There'll be 6 topics, and we'll have an IEP clinic running concurrently. So that we just have to save the date out right now because we haven't finalized speakers yet. So that'll be really exciting. It's the first one we've done. And I hate organizing things. I really do, but it's been like, I have to do it. So I've been working on it. And I've been manager of the FEC for 2 years. Prior to that, I did a little stint with Early Start on case management. And before that, I worked for a number of years with families who have children with medical conditions for a program called California Children's Services. I'm doing family navigation for those kids. Family Empowerment Center, we help families with their IEPs, but we also support them in applying to regional center, in-home support services, SSI, and other services they may be eligible for. I'm missing something, Kritika?
No, you got it all.
So we kind of help them across the board with anything they might need help with. Kritika here is a newer employee, but she's been here almost a year, and she can, well, I'll just say, we're all parents of kids with special needs. I have a 32-year-old who, needed services and who's doing great now. So we're, I'm familiar with the process of getting services for a child with special needs. Kritika, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kritika, and I am, as Carol said, fairly new to Family Resource Navigator as an employee, but I've been a client way before that. They helped me with my IEP as well. I have a child who's 11 years old, and he has an IEP, and he's a non-speaker, uses a device to communicate. So it helps that I still have a child in the school system to help other families because we kind of are going through the same thing in parallel, and we learn as we go. So it's been really amazing experience to work with Carol and the team and educating myself while also helping other families navigate. So glad to be here.
Okay, so I don't know if you want to make me host. I did send the slides to you earlier today. If you want to share the slides, whichever is easier.
Let's see if I'm able to give you sharing capability.
Okay.
There you go. Thanks, Pramita.
Okay, so now I have to find them. Okay, close everything down before. Here we go. I need to share. Of course, I'm at the end of the slides. This, and then I want to do a slideshow, right? Do that. I'm so bad at this. I know what I'm doing until I have to do it. Slideshow. Start. Oh, there we go. Someone could be on the lookout for raised hands. As Carolyn said, questions about what I'm talking about are great. If they're personal questions, hold them to the end because we don't want to record because this is going to get posted. So we're going to talk today about extended school year. I saw in the chat someone said summer school. We're going to talk about what the difference between extended school year and summer school is because they are not the same. So about us learn a little bit more. We have we're multilingual, multicultural. Our staff speak 11 different languages, I believe, at this point. In the FEC alone, we've got probably 6 languages. Two Chinese languages, yeah. Spanish, Hindi,
Tamil.
Maybe there's 5. So here we are. The agenda, we're going to talk about what is extended school year, how is it different from summer school, what are the eligibility criteria, what services can I get, how to advocate for ESY and alternatives if not found eligible. So what is extended school year? Extended school year services are special education services that are provided to a student with a disability during extended school breaks. These services assist the student in working towards the same goals and objectives that the student works on during the school year. Extended school year is typically a 4-week extension of the regular school year. It is usually a shorter school day with reduced services provided. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. So how is ESY different than summer school? ESY is primarily designed to prevent kids from regressing by allowing them to maintain the skills they learned during the school year. Whereas summer school is designed to catch kids up who missed learning during the school year, a remedial program, or accelerate them so they can progress faster, an enrichment program. And some students with IEPs may be eligible to attend summer school. I just have to apologize. I'm getting over pneumonia, so I need to drink a lot of water, and I may start coughing, in which case Kritika is going to take over. And she may take over anyway. So
Sure.
who is eligible for extended school year? Student with a disability must meet certain eligibility requirements for ESY services. Under California law, to qualify, a student must show that their disabilities are likely to continue indefinitely or for a prolonged period. An interruption of their educational program may cause regression. This is, schoolese languages. They have limited recoupment capacity. And the above factors make it impossible or unlikely that they will attain self-sufficiency and independence without ESY services. So what does that mean? A child is likely to lose skills and will have a harder time regaining them if they don't have ESY than other students. So they've learned something, and then they'll lose them over the summer, and it's going to take a long time for them to get those skills back. And how they learn that is based on what has happened during other school breaks, such as winter break or a previous summer break. So if they have not regressed in the past, or if they regressed, every child regresses. If they've regressed and had a really hard time catching up in the past, they might be eligible for extended school year the next. So, when you're talking about it, they'll be like, oh, well, they didn't regress the last break, so we're not really that concerned. That happens a lot. But here's another reason for extended school year that is frequently overlooked by IEP teams. If a child is having a breakthrough moment on a new skill, and it's important to keep going with this skill, they may be eligible for extended school year, such as they're finally learning to read, or they have just learned how to use their AAC device. So if they've got a skill they have just broken through on, and then summers come, and they're going to lose that. They learn to lose that momentum they have just gained. That's a reason you can ask for extended school year. And districts often just drop this one off as a reason to add extended school year. So I'm frequently saying, but they just got their AAC device, you're going to drop that that skill for the whole summer. They just got it. And they're just learning now. So yeah, so something to keep in mind. So what services are offered for ESY? The same services that are in the regular school year are usually provided. Some services will be at a reduced duration. So instead of getting an hour a week, you might get half an hour. Specialized academic instruction has to be provided a minimum of 20 instructional days, but these can be shorter days. And they frequently do it over July 4th then that day's a holiday and it doesn't count against ESY days because it's a holiday. So you really only get 19. You usually get your paraprofessional services, so that's in your IEP. You'll get them over the summer. If you have nursing services will be there, and it's not reduced. It'll be for the same amount of day. Related services, like I said, are often at 50%. So if you normally get speech therapy twice a week, you'll get it once a week. And this is just sort of automatic. Every kid gets cut 50%. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what you can do about that. And then if they get transportation during the regular school year, they should get transportation in the summer. We're going to talk a little bit about the fact that they may change schools on you. So if they do change your school to one that you can't get to, because it's farther from home, they can't walk, and they have said, oh, this is your home school, so we're not providing transportation, but ESY suddenly is at a school that's farther away, you may be able to get transportation for ESY. So that might be a new service you can get if for some reason it's not at the same school. Let's just see. Okay, I've got some things in the chat. Yes. See, during the school year, I am reimbursed for taking my child to school instead of utilizing transportation. Yes, if you are normally reimbursed for transportation, you will consider to be, if you continue to drive, you will continue to be reimbursed in ESY. So we have to request to sign up. Who do we ask? When I asked my child case manager, they didn't know how. You do not sign up for ESY. It has to be in your IEP. And that is actually missing from this presentation. It is a question on the, I missed this. On your IEP, it will say ESY, yes or no. And it has to be checked, yes. And then there'll be a section on what services you're going to get in ESY. And it has to be filled out just like your IEP regular year. ESY will have a section on what you're getting. Like, you know, academic support, paraprofessional, all that stuff will be written in for ESY. And then once it's there, you do have to sign up. They will give you the information about signing up. But you won't get that information if it's not checked yes on your IEP. This will be in the future version I write. Any other questions that have come up yet? Yes, Berlita?
No.
To get to this part or not, so I didn't want to raise my hand.
Oh.
Are you going to get to the part where it is a IEP team decision?
This is where I sort of drew a blank today. It was supposed to be.
Okay. And I can help you out. I'm not.
This is what I'm missing. I looked at this with critique. I'm like, what am I missing? And then it's like, what's missing? What's missing? And I have in my brain to do it. So we'll talk about it. So actually now is a good time to talk about it. So when you have your IEP, and they'll often defer this. They'll often say, we're not going to look at this until the end of the school year. There's not a real reason to defer it after Christmas because they'll have had winter break and they can say, well, we saw a regression over winter break. Or we didn't see a regression. The breakthrough skill thing, that could happen more at the end of the school year because you're going to say, hey, they just learned this new thing. It is a team decision, which, as we know, means that they have to agree with you. So you do need, and I am going to talk about advocacy for this, but you kind of have to have everyone on board that that you need ESY. And it is a discussion you need to have at the IEP meeting. It may be at an amendment or addendum IEP meeting to add it. especially if you have it IEP like in October, they probably are not going to get ready to talk about ESY. Unless you always have it, and then they might just put it in, as the
Mhm.
IEP. Oh, you always get ESY, so we'll just check yes, and yeah. So we'll discuss some of this more, but there should be a slide just about this. Least restrictive environment concerns in the ESY. Typically only self-contained classrooms, special day classes are offered as placements for ESY. School districts do not have to offer an inclusion placement for students who are included or mainstreamed during the regular school year. This is by law. They do not have to provide inclusion. So if you have a child that is included all year and you want them to be in extended school year, they can place them in a special day class. So that's a consideration you need to think about if you want that. And your child may just be able to get the related services if you don't want your child in a special day class setting for extended school year. I got just related services for my son, speech and OT, and I just brought them to the school for those things while they were doing other more enriching summer school program stuff. It was not offered that way. I had to advocate for it, but I did get it because there's nothing that says you can't do that. They don't get to get money for you though, because you're not attending a full day of school. So they're not happy about doing it that way. Okay, so here we go. Advocating for extended school year when the school district, something in the chat, okay. Oh, we're going to talk about summer camp.
Summer camp, yeah.
Oops, too far. Go back. This is not a very long presentation. I have to say I had a hard time making this really in depth. Advocating for extended school year when the school district is not in agreement with putting it in the IEP. You need to show examples of regression. This does not just mean academic regression, but includes behavioral or mental health progress your child is making. So keep portfolios of your child's work or documentation of behavioral changes following breaks in the school schedule. So you keep your own work and you show them that they were doing this, and then look what happened in the beginning of the next school year. They're not able to do the math they were doing, and they're not able to do show that what they lost. Always keep portfolios of your child's work for the IEP, just in general, so that you can demonstrate what you're talking about. And then documentation of behavioral changes. So, let's say they have been eloping, and that kind of died down at the end of the year, and then school starts up and it's a major problem again. Or they had other behavioral challenges in the classroom, like climbing on furniture or aggression or something like that. And that had the behavior plan had been working, and then it wasn't. And school, you're getting lots of calls from the school. You're picking your child up again, and it had not been happening at the end of the school year. Maybe they needed some services over the summer, and that would have been better. So that can be examples of that. So if you're getting called a lot in the beginning of the school year, keep those notes from the school district. Follow up with emails back to the school saying, I've had to pick my child up. So when you get a call from the school, follow up with an email saying, I had to pick my child up, I had to pick my child up, I had to pick my child up. Always try to document stuff if the school is not documenting it. When you follow up with an email, that's documentation. Get a letter of support from your ABA provider. or your outside therapy providers, your physicians, your mental health providers, giving examples of emerging skills or examples of observed regression that they've seen during school breaks. It's one I picked up off a website. Letting the school district know you don't have opportunities for your child's educational development over the summer, and regression will be inevitable. I frequently had, basically the school district assuming that I had the money for something expensive for my kid over the summer. I don't know why they thought I did. And I managed to make things work, but I didn't have, it was sort of this assumption. And, they can't just make those assumptions about people. Now, I was staying home. We didn't have a lot of spare money because I wasn't working. And so if you don't have that, or let's say you are working, or you're a single parent, and your child will not have any sort of educational opportunities over the summer. They're going to be sitting at home watching TV all summer because that's what you got going. Regression will happen, and they may have a hard time catching up. Other considerations. An IEP team has the freedom to consider other options for ESY, including during winter and spring break, or for the duration of summer break. 4 weeks is the minimum. That whatever 4.5 hours or whatever they offer you, that's the minimum. It's what they offer everybody. It's not the maximum. That's just the minimum, and they will tell you that's the maximum, but they can offer more if your child needs it. It's an IEP. Your child needs more. I had a friend who had a 52-week program for their child. She had a lawyer, but she did get a year-round program for her kid. So she was getting summer break, winter break, spring break, a program the whole time. They may be able to fund specialized instruction such as tutoring if ESY is not the right thing, but they may have dyslexia and they're way behind. They may offer a tutoring program, like a Linda Bell program or something. They can do that. It's going to require a lot of advocacy on your part, but they can do that. That's within their realm of things they can fund. And schools cannot limit ESY to specific disabilities. They can't say, oh, ESY is only for kids with severe disabilities, or it's only for kids that are in special day classes. That's not something they can say. And they also cannot unilaterally limit the amount or duration of service. If your child needs that hour of speech, not the 30 minutes of speech, but needs that hour of speech, they can't just say we don't do that because we don't do it for anyone else. It's once again, it's putting the I in IEP. So, and the other thing I didn't put in this was my sources. Realizing that was my last slide I was supposed to do. I picked up a lot of stuff from COPA website and partnership, Parents in Partnership, and Disability Rights California. So I can send my sources if you need to see where I was getting my information from. But some of it was coming from SELPAs and some of it was coming from, lots of places. So I don't have a complete list of my sources, but not weird sources. I didn't use AI.
We will include this deck with the recording. So if you want to add that on and send it back.
Yeah, I can. And
greatly
I can
appreciate it.
actually,
And no rush when you can.
I can
Thank
add
you.
a slide. I can add a slide about the extent, if you want to send the slides out at some point. I can add the slide about Amazon as the team decision and a slide about my sources. So
That would be fantastic.
it's my brain's not working.
It's all good. It's all good.
My brain
It's
on
fantastic as is.
But a lot of places I went to had this, that it's not, you can get it for spring break and winter break and all summer. And I kept seeing that same exact information. So it's not, okay, advocacy for ESY, things not to say. It is not a replacement for childcare. I don't have anyone where place for my child to go. That's not a replacement for childcare. It is not to enhance a child's education or to provide the best possible education program. This is true about some special education in general. You know this. It's not intended as compensatory time. If you are owed compensatory time, that can be provided in the summer as well, but it is not ESY. So if you're owed speech therapy or whatever, that can happen in the summer, but it's not extended school year, it's something else. If your student has missed a lot of school, that is not ESY either. Once again, you may be able to get some tutoring or other things to catch your child up. If they're offering a summer school, maybe that's where they can get caught up on their units or whatever, but it's not extended school year. And extended school year is not an opportunity for new skills or new goals. So you only can work on your current goals or current skills. They will not add new goals for extended school year. And let's see. Other things to be aware of. Not only can you not have new goals, but not all your goals will be worked on. It's a shorter day. It'll be in a new classroom with a new teacher. So you need to find out which goals that will be worked on in ESY. You might need to advocate, no, I want this goal to be worked on. They may tell you, well, you can't make any, but you can try to steer what extended school year is going to be working on for your child. Not all related services may be provided. You may need to advocate for certain things to be included, like ERMs, educational related mental health services, or physical therapy. They may say, oh, we don't have anyone to provide those services in the summer. Child really needs them. You can say, well, you need to contract for those services then. Related services may not start the first week because they may not have anyone in place, or they are working out a schedule. So you may only get 3 weeks of related services. It's likely your child will not be at the same school they normally attend because they will not have ESY at that school. There will be different students in that classroom, especially if your child is included most of the day during the regular school year. Staffing is going to be different. Teachers, aides, or other support and service providers may all be different than your child is used to. So if your child does not deal with transitions well, you may need to plan for this with social stories or advanced visit to schools if they will allow it. In other words, it's a lot of transition, and this is why a lot of families choose not to go to extended school year, because there's just too many changes, and the child will take 2 weeks to adjust, and ends up being just not that beneficial for a lot of kids. When my son was little, I believe it was an 8-week program, and then it was a 6-week program, and it was a 5-week program, and now it's a 4-week program. They just kept cutting it as funding changes made. So, how can you prepare for a successful first day? Transportation may not be ready on the first day, so you may need to transport your child yourself. And once again, the transportation schedule may not be set up. As with school in general, seems to come as a surprise that school is starting. If your child is a likely eloper, make sure there is a safety plan for the new school. Some of the schools are, more lockdown ready than others. So you may need to make a visit to the school and make sure that the gates can all be locked, or that there's a plan in place. Okay. If your child has medical needs or physical needs, make sure that necessary medical equipment is at the ESI school site on that first day, like alternative seating. If your child's a wheelchair user, that there is a Riften chair or a beanbag chair or somewhere else they can sit for part of the day. That there's a higher lift in the bathroom if your child needs lifting. If your child's over 40 pounds, they need to have that. Or there's other adaptive equipment or medical supplies. Make sure they are there for that first day. Your child has a health aide normally, and it's going to be a different person for the summer. Make sure they will be trained and supported for the first day. And as we do for the regular school year, have this is my child, 1-page document prepared for the teacher on the first day of class. We do have a training we do in July for the regular school year. Just a 1-pager. This is what's going to freak my child out. This is some of the behaviors they have. This is some of the goals we would like to work on. This is how you can calm my child down. They're not going to read the IEP. They have all these new kids in their class, and if they have the IEP, I would be surprised. They will probably get a little summary from the school district about the child, but you won't have a chance to see it. So have your own. This is my child, 1-page document with what you think is the most important information on it. And I see I have 3 things in the chat, so let's check out that. Okay. Where we can find information on summer camp, we haven't gotten to that yet. I already said that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we logged on late. We'll be sending a link for the
No.
recording. Yes, right?
Yes.
Yes. And feel free to ask questions. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's say you don't want to do so let's say you don't want to do ASY or you've been turned down for it. What else can you do? Well, if your child's a regional center client, and we can talk a little bit about that if you want to, the regional center can vendorize summer camps, sleepaway as well as day camps. Remember to apply early as spaces fill up for these camps, especially the special needs ones. Many of them offer scholarships, but these also really go early, so they're usually gone by early March. Regional Center can also pay for an aid for your child through a program called Everyone In that's run through United Cerebral Palsy. Your child does not have to have cerebral palsy. That's just who runs the program. You have to find your own aid, but Regional Center will pay for it. And then FRN does it's just called at this point the FRN Fun List because it's activities throughout the year. And I really tried hard to embed this, but cannot figure out how to do it. No, okay. So do I have it open on my screen still? Let me see if I can find it still. Oh, shit. I had it open on my screen, but I had too many things open. Can you find it?
I have the 2025 list.
Oh no, I have the 2026. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
We also have it on our website as well.
Oh, you have the 2026? I did send it to everybody. Can you find it to share?
I put it in the chat on our website.
Perlita put it on the chat.
Okay, let's open it. I can't. Oh, I can't share it then, can I? Anyway, everyone can open it. because it's in
Yeah.
the chat. It's all live links. It's organized at the top. So you can click on the various topics, like libraries. And you just have to open it maybe. Let me see if I can open it on my screen. I don't know why I can't open it because it's open on my.
Here's a more direct link.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Pearlie. So that's super helpful. So we have a question in the chat, Carol, that asks if you can get into it a little bit more about the difference between summer school and extended school year.
Okay. So school districts offer usually a pay your own way summer school program. It's an enrichment program. I don't think they all do it. I know Piedmont has that. A few other school districts I know, and it's strictly enrichment. And then oftentimes, especially at the high school level, they have like a credit recovery kind of program for kids that have missed school and need to make up classes. Then I think they have it usually for younger kids too. And that is, I think they get funding for that. So that has a no cost program. And it's, like I said, a remedial program. And your child will be selected for that if they're eligible. So you'll be notified if your child is eligible for a summer school remediation program. And that would be making up work or learning remedial skills like reading or math, and it'll be strictly in a sort of an academic program. And so the students that are in general education are probably kids that are included, can be selected to be in that kind of program. They generally say that special ed kids don't get to be in that program because they're in special education and they should do summer school, but it'd be something to look into if your child is in inclusion and they're not being allowed to have extended school year, or you don't want them in extended school year. I can't tell you how long those programs are because I think it would vary from school district to school district. So that's summer school. An extended school year is strictly special education, and it is an IEP decision. So I don't know if that helps. So if you have more specific question or drill down kind of question, you can ask me.
And feel free to raise your hand if you want to ask a live question. You don't have to exclusively use the chat, but feel
Yeah,
free
because
yourself.
sometimes I need a little more than you want to type. So
What would you say some guidance for folks if they feel like their student could benefit from extended school year? What steps should they take?
well, if it hasn't come up at the IEP, definitely bring it up to your case carrier, your case, whoever your special ed case coordinator is, whether that's your special ed teacher. Sometimes it's not always the same person. If your child has like, if your child isn't a resource, it would be a resource teacher probably. If they're not in resource but getting speech therapy, then it might be the speech therapist. But whoever is sort of coordinating like the IEP meeting. If they don't know what's going on, then you would contact the special ed department and ask for the whoever the elementary school special ed coordinator, and say you want to have an IEP meeting to discuss extended school year.
Yeah.
Put it in writing, or in email, in a letter, whatever. Put it in writing, and they have to have an IEP meeting within 30 days to discuss it. They may do a prior written notice saying they don't have to provide extended school year, but then they
Yep.
have to say what. And they can't just say, no, we're not going to meet and we're not going to provide this. They have to do a prior written notice, either scheduling the meeting or saying why they don't have to have it with you. You get a prior written notice for everything. It's either turning you down
Yeah.
or saying, yes, we're going to do that. So a lot of people don't realize that it always says prior written notice at the top, but that's what that is.
I see your hand raised, KOL.
Yeah, hi. Sorry.
Good.
Hi, my name is Christine. I have a son who is about to start high school.
Mhm.
And we contacted RCEB just specifically regarding summer camps, and they could not give us any help.
Is
It
he a
didn't
client?
seem like,
Is he regional center client?
yes.
Oh,
And so he's already on an IEP, and I asked specifically about summer camp, and it seemed like they needed to do more evaluation, but I told them, but summer isn't, it's now. And I'm sure, is there like an application form? Because I've gone on websites to different summer camps, specifically, for instance, for kids with ADHD, and I've seen that they say that these regional centers can foot the bill for
yeah.
summer camps. But it doesn't seem like the people I talk to on the RCEB side knows about this or have any forms, or like, could you walk us through the application process for this itself? Like, how do we find these
Yeah.
forms? How do we
It-
fill them out? Who do we talk to? Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you're a regional center client and your caseworker doesn't know about recreational services, ask to speak to their supervisor. This is a service
Yeah.
that is kind of a automatic. There's no
Yeah.
forms to fill out.
Okay.
Everyone's getting them right now.
I don't know what to say. I mean, we've been basically in line for additional testing since November. And he still hasn't been taken into testing.
So does he have a caseworker?
Yes, but they've just sent multiple emails saying they're very backed up and they have a backlog. And I've also tried to contact her multiple times, but I'm not getting through. And I really just he really wants to do summer camps himself, and I think it would be really good for him socially. So I've been trying to figure that out, but I'm really just kind of hitting the wall at the regional center itself.
Do you have an
Oh.
assessment counselor?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not
Oh,
yet
it's
a
different.
client. Yeah.
Mhm.
So he already has an IP with a diagnosis. I think they wanted to do a reassessment because it was set by his previous school in another state. But then we've kind of been in this backlog here in California now since
Well,
he was transferred there.
regional center takes
So-
about a year.
Year.
It's not related
Yeah.
to your school district evaluation. That is a piece of the information they look at, but he has to fit into one of their categories,
Mhm.
which would
Yeah.
be autism, epilepsy, intellectual disability, cerebral palsy, or a condition that resembles intellectual disability. So he'd have to fit in one of those categories to be a regional center client.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he does have that diagnosis on his IEP from another state. So, but it's like, since it's taking so long, we're not
Yeah.
getting anywhere.
No, you will not get any services until they've accepted you as a full client. And if you're still under assessment, and we can help you with that if you want to give us a call.
Yeah, that would be great. I would really appreciate that. We're just trying to navigate the system.
Yeah. So hold on, let me just read. Oh, can I share again?
Yes, of course. Julie, do you mind
'Cause
making her host again?
I do have
One slide at the end with your
Yeah.
contact info. Yes.
yeah. I also have a survey I needed to share. Survey link. That I forgot about. Okay. Oh, did I shut it already? Oh. I think I shut it. Oh, Carol.
In the meantime, if folks have additional questions, feel free to raise your hand or add it to the chat, whichever method is more comfortable for you. We have a few minutes left. We could take a few more questions.
Okay, is this it? Share. There we go. Um, So as I said, you need to be a regional center, a full-fledged regional center consumer, and that process can take a year. So they're slow. It used to be 4 months, and then the pandemic happened, and I don't know, they lost a lot of staff, and
And they do their assessments.
they do their own
So
assessments.
yeah.
For a while, they were like accepting evaluations from other people. The reason they don't is that once you're accepted for life, and services can go on for the rest of your life. And so they really don't want to. Okay, I'm just going to share this without doing the slideshow. If people could, this is either do the QR code or copy this link. I can put the link into the chat. You want me to? Okay, come on, Carol. I need to coach myself some days. Okay, copy. And then the last slide, this has got our emails addresses on it. Although we can just add that to the chat also. I'll just put this here, and I'll put that into the chat. How do I get to the chat though? Chat.
Yeah, please do take that survey if you're able. I'm sure it helps family resource navigators, helps inform their future programming.
Yeah.
And it also helps to know how you benefited from hearing this presentation.
Yeah.
So please do complete that. And as I mentioned, we have a few minutes left for questions, if anyone has any. I will say, in spite of the fact that it is fairly late in the school year at this point, if you think your student could benefit from extended school year, I would say reach out to your IEP team and see if it's a possibility. The worst they
Yeah.
could tell you is no. Maybe they send you a prior written notice. Maybe they tell you, we'll have to discuss it at the IEP meeting, and 30 days puts us beyond summer at this point.
Yes.
So
It's
maybe
not
it's a conversation
yeah.
that you end up having next year for next summer. That's not a
But I
terrible
would
thing,
try to do it now.
but I would try to do it now. Yes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got nothing to
Don't-
lose.
Yeah, don't say you
Yeah.
want to meet now to discuss ASY because you think your child would need
Benefit.
and as every no, we don't use the word benefit. You
Yeah.
know better.
That's true.
We never
Yep.
use the word benefit. We say
We
need.
need.
Yes.
My child needs it.
It's like, and we don't need it. Who needs it? Your child needs
Your
it.
child
Yeah.
needs it. Your child needs
You
it.
don't want it. Your child needs
Needs it for this reason.
Yes.
That's
Exactly.
the best statement.
Yeah. Yeah. So, any other questions? What's in the chat? Okay. Okay.
Okay, well, if there are no further questions, I want to say a deep and sincere thank you to Carol and Kritika for joining us this evening. Carol, you especially, because I know how under the weather you've been. So I hope you're able to get some rest, take care of yourself, please. But thank you for being here for us tonight with this really valuable information about extended school year. I think this is the only presentation that I've attended that was about extended school year. We've done it for years and years and years, and I have kind of had to figure it out on my own or reach out to my network of
We've
folks.
never been asked for this information before.
Yes, so this is
You
really,
do it in
really
passing
helpful.
in another training on related
Yes,
services, and it's like
related.
one side. It's like, and when you ask me, I'm like, oh my God, what can I say? It's gonna be one side. And yes,
And
I've turned into a toddler. I need to take a nap every day.
naps are good. I mean, there's nothing like that recharge in the middle of the day to help you get through the rest of the day and whatever else you need to do. So I wouldn't beat yourself up about that. Naps are amazing. I want to thank our attendees. This would be
Yeah.
super boring if it was just the four of us having a conversation, although it would be super enriching for sure. But these
And I would love to
presentations aren't the
come
same
back.
without you all.
You guys have turned out a bigger turnout than we have for our last few trainings. So if you have other topics you want, just ask us.
I will definitely be taking you up on that. So thank you
Okay.
for the offer, Carol.
Yeah,
Appreciate you so much.
absolutely.
Perlita, any last words you want to leave us with?
You know what? I thought the one slide about just informing parents that how to prepare for summer school or for ESY was really important in that that to expect that it's not the same teachers, that if it's difficult for your child to transition to new schools, that you know it is difficult. Having worked in special education for over 25 years, ESY is not for everyone, and yes, your child can benefit, but it's so hard on the child um to transition into it. And like you said, it's so fast. It takes them almost 2 weeks to get used to the new staff, to new routines. And then by the time they settle down, it's over.
Yeah.
And it's such a heartache for them. And it's so hard for them. And it's,
And sometimes it is the
yeah,
same people. Sometimes it's at the same
yeah,
school and it's like the same teacher. But lately, it seems like it's not. When I go to IEP meetings and we talk about ESY, it's like, it's not at
yeah,
this school site. It's the same teacher. No, it's going to be the
yeah,
same horde of kids. Well, probably not. It's like, oh,
yeah. So it's really important to have that thorough discussion during your IEP meeting with that team to make sure that you have, that real, you know, discussion in like with every service provider to make sure, like what's going to be important for your child.
yeah.
And like you said, they might not, each provider might not necessarily recommend each service, but again, it's going to be service by service and what the child needs and what they would benefit from.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But thank you
Also
so
the
much.
transport part, I had to face that once. They didn't have transport and then the transport came late and we were figuring that out, but it would have been easier if I had just emailed the night before to the transport coordinator, hey, are we good to go? We're getting picked up tomorrow. All that's good. Okay, fine. And because it's kind of chaotic, the first day of ESY is extremely chaotic. It's more chaotic than the first day of school, I feel, sometimes.
Especially if those sites don't typically have those programs normally. And I did want to respond to the question in the chat, and that the slides and the video will typically be on the SEPA website. So yes,
Let me
the slides
add,
will be.
tomorrow I'm going to add a couple things to the slides and I'll reshare them with you.
Sounds great.
Yeah, just a couple things I was missing and sources and yeah.
Thank you, Perlita.
Absolutely.
All
And
right.
yeah, and I am
Thanks,
available
Jessica.
or you could always reach out to the SEPA website if you have additional questions. And Carol, I'm always happy to collaborate with you if need be.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and the parents who need help with the regional center, they can always contact us and we can help them through the
You can
process.
follow up and see where they are and all that.
It could be, yeah, it is overwhelming, and currently the wait times are even more overwhelming, and so
Sometimes
we
you're
can-
missing a piece of paper, and help something from the doctor or whatever, and they aren't telling you what you're missing. So we can follow up with that.
thank you so much for that kind offer. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it. One last plug for the Community Advisory Committee. If you found this session to be helpful and you want to be part of the team that helps plan these, it comes through our Advocacy Education Subcommittee, and you do not need to be a voting member of the CAC to be part of that committee. So reach out to us. I dropped an email in the chat earlier. I also put in a sign-in sheet for those of you that are left. It's admin@northregionselpacac.org. You can find it in the chat or just hit our website. There are multiple ways to reach us through there.
Yeah, I was on the San Francisco CAC for 7 years, on board for 6.
Wow, I'm not surprised to hear that, Carol.
That's how I learned so much about special education, though. We got involved with rewriting the parent handbook, and it's like, oh, this is what a compliance complaint is. This is what I,
It's the place where we try to help families and caregivers be
yeah,
better,
it's great.
the best advocates that they can be for their students. And this session is just an example of that.
Our board meeting, we wanted to get t-shirts saying it's not just a support group.
That's right. That's right. Okay, everyone. Thank you so very much again. Have a great evening, everyone. And have a great summer if I don't see you again. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much. Bye.
Bye.